When the protests over George Floyd's death broke out in cities across the country, I was struck by these powerful images breaking out on social media of protesters who had lost an eye, had traumatic eye injuries that had been caused by what police call less lethal munitions. That's rubber bullets, beanbag rounds, canisters. And I covered protests in Ferguson and Baltimore back in 2014, 2015, and this seemed new. This was something that we didn't really see during those protests following the death of Michael Brown and Freddie Gray. So we really wanted to look at this and look at why people had been shot with these munitions. We found that 8 people had been partially blinded in just one day of protests, May 30th. And we spoke with them all about their experiences, and you can see a clip of that now.
So I squeezed my eye shut and started yelling, I'm pressed, I'm pressed.
I never thought I was going to go to a protest and lose an eye.
Whatever did just happen is catastrophic.
When it hit me, I just noticed the blood just coming out.
Something like a fire had exploded in my face.
And they turned around that corner, and then all of a sudden I was struck in the eye.
It was like I was burning up, I'm being burnt alive.
The pain, my eye was like the size of a softball at that time.
Jon, thanks for sparing the time to talk. I wondered if, first of all, you could say a bit about why you were there in Cleveland that day protesting. What drove you to show up?
So I decided to go that day because for a while I wanted to go to one of the larger protests. I'm going to like smaller events and I guess, social get-togethers where, we discuss a lot of, the events that are going on within the world, but nothing on that scale that I've been to. And with it being in Cleveland, being about an hour away from me, I felt like that was a perfect opportunity to, go out there. And decided to go out there to, be a part of the march and, so basically show that, I'm there supporting the cause and supporting everyone else that, took time out of their days to, go there and basically to show that there's something wrong and that we all collectively know that there's something wrong and we're going to use our First Amendment right to voice our opinions. And the other reason for me going is one of my hobbies is photography. So I take a lot of pictures of, things that, I just experienced from like world events going on. And then also I take a lot of pictures of nature. And that was, another opportunity for me to get some things under my belt and, kind of just document what was going on throughout the day, especially for people who weren't able to take time out their day and see and experience that. It's just something that down the road, if they ever want to know what happened in Cleveland, Ohio on May 30th, that, they had the opportunity to see.
How would you summarize to someone unfamiliar with your case what happened to you and what you were doing when it happened?
So the best way I could describe it is the reason I was there, which was protesting police brutality, happened to me from a police officer. At the time when I was shot, I was taking pictures, doing the documentation. We were actually, me and my group were getting ready to leave. Where I was shot was basically right across the street from the parking lot where we parked at. So I was 30 seconds from the vehicle, basically being able to head back home when I was shot. And at the time, I was just taking pictures of the Justice Center, the glass and the graffiti that was on the wall of the Justice Center. And as I was leaving from where I was at taking pictures, I walked into the street. Within a few seconds of me walking into the street, I was struck by a beanbag round from a sheriff's deputy.
Now, we covered your case at the Washington Post. Other media have as well. What do you think is important about media coverage of these incidents?
Well, to be quite honest with you, for a long time before everyone had a camera in their pocket and, mass surveillance was everywhere, things like this have literally been happening since the foundation of this country, since 1776. and before, when we were still, basically a British colony. People of color, but Black people in general, have been basically dehumanized. And for a long time, people like me have been saying, hey, this is what's happening to us. Please help us. And for a long time, people pretty much acted as if, we were making the stuff up, or, it's not really happening to the numbers or to the effect that we say it's happening. And it really hasn't been until, media and basically just everyday humans, everyday Americans have been taking videos of what we've been saying for generations. And I think that's huge, because I feel like a lot of people now understand that, this does happen, and it happens often. It happens much, much more often than what you can even think that it should happen. And I think that's very important.
Now, you lost your eye to what they call a beanbag round, which is a sort of sock filled with lead pellets. How, a few months later, would you describe the impact on your life?
It's still, I've settled in pretty well at this point, but it's still there's still points in my day where, I may be doing something for the first time today that, I haven't done since I haven't had two eyes.
What kind of thing?
Like some little things, like when I'm driving, or like I don't cook much anymore, but I was just cutting some stuff up in the kitchen, and I don't know, just ever since being shot, I kind of have somewhat of a fear of sharp objects, just because I don't feel like I have a good enough perception on where it actually is, or if someone is handing me something. There's been a lot of times where someone's handed me like a piece of paper or just a plate or anything, and my hand is a couple inches off, because I just can't perceive where it's really at. And it's a lot of little things, and like I said, I've adjusted pretty well. So like the larger things that I do every day, I'm pretty comfortable with now. But it's just those little things here and there that are just a little uncomfortable. And like going up and down the stairs all the time, I really struggle with that sometimes. Here, I'll walk down the stairs, and I used to be able to just run down the stairs, but now I'm taking it one step at a time, because I'm trying to judge where the next step is, and I don't want to slip or just completely miss it and fall. So it's a lot of the really little things that you wouldn't think of that has really been affected us at this point.
Jon, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.